Hey, what up? It's Ro. I'm just making a video because I felt like making one. So this one's going to be about trans etiquette 101. If you're not sure how to approach a trans person or ask questions, here are some guidelines you should probably think about. Number one, ask permission to ask questions. So even if you think you know that they're comfortable answering your questions, they may or may not be in that setting, so it's pretty rude if you don't ask, so just give them the courtesy of asking first. Number two, avoid private and personal questions. Even somebody with an open book doesn't really mean that they may want to discuss things like their sex life with just anyone. So if you really want to know about trans men and sex, ask in general terms, or maybe ask when you're alone. Number three, do not ask questions that in any way challenge the trans person's gender identity or expression, or could obviously lead to dysphoria. So, for example, don't ask things like, are you ever going to grow to be average height for a man? Or really anything that's going to make them uncomfortable. Number four, phrase your questions in a way that affirms a trans person's gender. So, avoid talking about anything that a trans person used to be or things that they once were. So instead of asking if somebody is still legally female, you may want to ask it in a different way. For example, like, what steps are you doing to become legally male? So you phrase it in those terms. Number five, avoid comparisons to non-trans people. So we call people who are not transgender cisgender people, and that's a way more appropriate term than saying somebody is a real man or a real woman. Number six, if it's a really general question, just try and Google it first. There's a lot of information, so maybe if you just Googled it, you could figure it out. Number seven, don't ask what my birth name was. There's really no need for you to know it. If I'm telling you that I go by Ro, then that's what I go by. So don't ask me what my real name was, because chances are I won't want to tell you. Number eight, request specific permission to ask any questions related to my junk, anybody's junk. Even if you've received kind of general permission, like maybe just, don't go right for the genitalia. Chances are, they probably won't want to talk about it. And I think just socially that's not really that acceptable for anyone to really ask about. Number nine, be wary of how you phrase things. So don't refer to a trans person obviously by their previously assigned gender. Respect their pronouns. Don't say things like when you were a girl. A more accurate way to go about it would be, before you transitioned, or when you were identifying as this. Number 10, be aware of your setting. Obviously, some things are private, and they may not be out to everyone, or they may not want to be out to everyone in that setting. Number 11, be sensitive to a person's comfort level throughout the conversation. So just because they've given you permission, there's always cues that you could pick up on to kind of cut that conversation short. And number 12, respect a person's privacy, right? So if I decide to tell you something that maybe, information that I'm just sharing with you because you approached me in a nice way, and it might not be something that I really want to talk about with everybody. So yeah, those are some things to consider in terms of trans etiquette. I'll talk to you guys later.